Hi, welcome to Together, the podcast where we guide you into the juiciness of sacred relating. In today's episode, why it's hard to receive love, the art of reconnecting when we can't feel each other. This is a big one for almost every couple that we've worked with. The 3 points we're going to hit today are addiction to complaining, receiving is a felt sense, how to truly feel what's offered.
And we're going to have a bonus if you stick around, where we are going to share a very helpful trick for receiving when you're not feeling it. So, addiction to complaining. There is something called the negativity bias that exists in our nervous system, in our neurobiology, which is that we are...
Ants.
What?
Ants. I forget the name of the doctor, but there's a doctor, he's a brain doctor, and he created the acronym ANTS, automatic negative thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Negativity bias. Our brain just automatically creates negative thoughts.
Yeah, and this is based on survival. Like our brain is scanning for survival. So it's like, obviously it wants to notice where danger is first to keep us safe. But you can see in relationship, this gets super tricky because what happens is we literally can get addicted to noticing what's wrong. And this can both be since we can have ways that we've never received and never felt things because we've had that negativity bias since we were in the womb or since we were a baby or since we were 5 or 13. So places where we don't even notice that there's something good that we could be receiving. We're not even feeling it. And we're noticing more what's wrong. Or we can get into relationship and then over time, we just start to notice more and more and magnify all the ways we're not feeling met. And we completely stop noticing all the ways we are being met. Meaning we are creating a negativity map, basically, and not really paying attention to all the juicy goodness that our partner is bringing into our life. And over time, especially, this whole taking for granted, right? If our partner always shows up in a certain way, we can just stop even noticing that or receiving it at all because it's just always there. You know, I was thinking this when you were away, and I was thinking about all the little things you do in our home, right? Like you fill the soap, all the soap dispensers, and you get the cat food, and you have all these systems to refill things in our life. And I was imagining, and I don't even have to think about it, right? I don't even have to think about it. It doesn't take up any bandwidth. But then I was thinking about what the version of my life would look like if you weren't there and I was just trying to do it by myself. I'm like, oh man, I'd be like, shit, we're out of soap. Oh no, I didn't get toilet paper. Oh yeah, when am I I have to, and then just
where are all those spices and unmarked bags in the bottom of a box?
Right. Yeah. Mike's got all these systems and, but how easy it could be, it can be and has been that I just forget about that, right? So in the day-to-day, you're doing all these little things that are helping me, but I can just completely forget and not even notice and then suddenly have a story about, Mike is not showing up because that day, maybe you're having a crunchy day, you're not as warm and loving. And now I start to go on this long thought spiral about all the ways that Mike does not support me.
Started by me leaving my socks somewhere in the house, probably.
That's not really. That's not my MO. That does not do it for me. For me, it's if somehow I'm not getting enough relational attunement or warmth. It's not practical.
Yeah,
it's
just
that.
Being funny because when I'm like, come on, there's got to be something that I do. Remember, I asked this. I'm like, come on, there's got to be something practical that I do around the house that bothers you.
No.
And your response was nothing. And I was like, dig deep. There's got to be something. Like nothing?
No.
And then I think you said the one time, well, sometimes you leave your socks around the house.
Yeah, but even then I'm like, oh, there's Mike's socks. But if you walk in the room and you don't acknowledge me,
yeah,
or I have a feeling and you blow it off, that for me will set me off on a long train of thought that is very good at convincing me of how you never meet me and you're never thinking about me. You're never, able to put me ahead. And, 99% of the time I'm able to track that and be like, oh yeah, there's that story, But every once in a while I lose my footing and it sounds pretty true.
It's wild what the brain will do, hey? It's so convincing.
Yeah.
It's funny that I wish I'll have to try to remember this doctor's name because I love it. Whenever the first time I read it in his book, I'm like, that really stuck. Is the ants, automatic negative thoughts. It makes me think. It's kind of funny when I sitting in the studio every once in a while we have issues with carpenter ants because our structures are wood and they like wood, and it can be so bothersome to have them chipping away. And so it's interesting, the acronym of ants, it's like, oh, it's this annoyance inside of us as humans. It's like hard to look away to notice anything good because it's like this thing is like just, chipping away. And what it brings up for me is like, I think of my days where I'm under-resourced, maybe had a short sleep, or I don't know, something's happened, I'm sick or something. And it makes me think of the version of me that shows up when that's the case. Like when I'm sick and have a man cold and I just seem to find all the things to complain about. And you listening, I imagine you can relate to that place. It's like, it's so easy to just slip into all the things that are going wrong, when we don't have that resource, which is why we need to really dig deep to look for the things that are positive, that, especially in partnership. It's a practice that I've brought into my like daily routine is I'll spend time journaling the things that I appreciate that you offer, like where you add value to my life. And then as your request, bring that out of the journal and then say it to your face and actually tell you about it. Because, oh my God, like you said, when I think of the amount of toys you've tidied up for Cedar, when I think of the amount of loads of laundry, of his laundry that you've done, like towels that you've folded, like all these things that I don't always think about that you offer, and so much more than that. But those are like just the practical ones in the day to day of, wow, that makes my life so much easier that those things are happening and that I don't have to do them, so that I can go do all the organizing of things. And
do you have the kryptonite that sets you off onto the negativity spiral? Like things that can kickstart that?
yeah, it's interesting. It's when I'm not managing my own energy well and I'm not doing enough self-care, or I'm like, I don't need to do that. And then I walk into the house, and for me, it's always something mess related is usually what triggers me down the negativity spiral, because I like tidiness and order. And so if there's something that's like, if I just clean the kitchen or something and I walk out of the room and I come back in and there's just stuff left everywhere, I'm like, and I have to dig deep to watch, like, oh, whoa, there my thoughts go about this situation. And then I have to flex and I have to practice strengthening that muscle of, yeah, okay, thanks, voice. Like, thanks, ego. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, not helpful. This isn't a helpful lane to keep driving on. Like, this isn't building a case around this and where we're not appreciated or respected. It's like not helpful. It's really not. It doesn't lead to closer intimacy. And so that would be the place. And then so I flex against that to be like, yeah, and wow, what's Courtney doing right now? She's with Cedar. Wow. And she's really tending what he needs and going at his pace at 3.5 while I can go focus on these things. And I can mobilize my energy to like work on the business, and I can go do the edits for this podcast as an example. Like all these things that I can do because I don't have to tend to that piece in that moment, and then we swap. But what about for you? What's this thing that sets you off?
There's a couple of them that are real, like it's like can be hard to catch the train. One of them is that came to mind right away. One of them that came to mind right away is if I'm going to be gathering with my family, or there's like some sort of gathering where I'm wanting your support, and then how we've had that imprint where right as we're about to gather, you all of a sudden have something. Oh, I need to go cut that tree down right now. Oh, I need to go to the grocery store right now. Oh, that one can really, because I'm like, I'm always alone. He never shows up. Like it can really get that little girl in there with that story. And in the past, I've frozen and then I go really into the story. Another one is when you have your investigator, we call it. Mike's got a very strong investigator. So he'll walk into a space, he'll notice all the things that are out of place or that haven't been tended. And so if the investigator walks in and says like 4 things in a row of like things, then I can really be like, Mike, like inside, like he never sees me. And then the other one is if I try to share something like a deeper emotion, and in that moment you like sort of just, I guess my words would be like you push it away or blow it off in some way, but I think what it is just you're tired or it wasn't the right moment, right? But you're not able to meet it in that moment in a kind way, or even just say, oh, hey, love, like I just can't be with you with that right now. That can really, those are kind of my key ones.
Yep.
And then I have to really work because it's amazing. Like those moments will happen. And then it's like my brain starts to amplify the story of like all Mike notices about me is what I do wrong. And then inevitably he starts to notice more of what I'm doing wrong. Right? Because I'm in that energy. And then I'm really noticing all the moments that and then it just can spiral. And this plays out in people's relationships so much. I mean, how many people want to raise their hand of like these moments where we start to become aware of an issue, right? There's a specific issue, right? Like, let's just say it's like my partner won't receive my emotions in the way that I'm needing. It can, like, literally what our brain will do is it'll take something that is maybe like 10% of the relationship. It's an issue. It's like a 10% issue. And it'll make it like a 99% issue. So even though there's all these other ways we're being met, there's all these other ways this person's showing up, there's actually even all these ways they're trying to meet us emotionally, but maybe they're not quite doing it right. We don't notice any of that. We only notice this one thing. And the thing is, we're not bad. That's just how our brains work. But we have to almost, to be in relationship, we have to get good at noticing it. We have to get good at being like, oh yeah, my brain is making this a ginormous problem. Like now this is like the whole world, And, if you've heard us talk about inner child and healthy adult, when we're in our healthy adult, we can maintain a perspective of how big an issue is. But when we're in our adaptive child, when we're in the child part, we lose all perspective and we literally will see that this is all there is. And that's actually how we know that we've lost the pulse on something, because we actually now perceive that this is the whole relationship and this is this huge issue. And it's wild, right? It's so much easier to see it from the outside, like when we're doing couples therapy, right? Like we're sitting there and someone will be going on and on about how their partner never listens to them and they're never there for them. And, we're sitting there and of course we're not in their brain. So it's easy for us to see, well, he's sitting here right now and we're watching and like, he's listening.
Yeah. He just reached his hand out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks really soft in his face. And it looks like he had a tear when you shared that vulnerable thing. Like there's.
Yes.
Easy.
And then we notice, oh yeah, when you go into an intense emotion, they kind of like grimace a little, but they're mostly here. And then, they don't know how to quite be present with, and that's what we can see from the seat we're sitting in. Mm-hmm. But when we're in the seat with our partner, we can really start to like amplify these things, or how often, women will be saying, you're never there, you're never. But then when we're sitting from the bird's eye view, it's like this person is like bringing home money. They help take care of the children. They're trying their best. They're like trying to figure it out. They're coming to therapy, all these things. And, but none of that is being seen, right? Because of this hurt.
Yeah. What an intelligent system.
Yeah.
Survival system. And back in its day when we like lived in a village, this would be really useful. Like it's cool. There's been studies where they'd like follow, I don't know what, they're not called a clan of monkeys. What is it? What's a group of monkeys called?
I don't know. A gaggle of monkeys?
A gaggle, a tribe,
a group,
clan, I don't know, whatever it is, a group of monkeys. They studied this, and monkeys would kind of go into this like gossipy energy and complaining energy with each other. But it's like how that's serving is if there's like a tiger over in that field over there, let's say two monkeys go off and they go over there and they come back, and then they like process with each other like, oh, there's that tiger over there. And then they go and they share with the other monkeys and they group around, and it's like their wisdom in it is they're all kind of complaining, but it's activating all those emotional charges and adrenaline in the body that stores information of like, shit, don't go over there. Mm-hmm. Like not a safe place to go. So like, yay. But now that we live in homes with a partner and have to co-parent and do all these things, we have to build a relationship with our survival system so we can differentiate if we're in it or not. Because that negativity bias is the survival system running. So it's that adaptive child piece. And I love that you described, some key places of what tells the listeners that they're in it. Some other ones I want to add here is if you're in a place where it's you, me consciousness, I call it, where it's like, well, you this and you that, and well, this, if you didn't do this, boom, we're an adaptive child. We're building a case. We are scanning for negative pieces. If it's black and white, if it's right or wrong, any of that terrain is like, we're in it. And so that's where we actually have to pull on our adult brain and actually start to look for the things that are positive, where you are here. And God, I know our adaptive children have beat the shit out of each other in that place. Or maybe not.
I don't know if I'd say it that way.
I wouldn't say it that. Well, no, I would say
I
that
actually
way.
think we've done it like our adaptive children are pretty sweet too.
They're sweet. I guess what I'm saying is, in my experience, when there's a really pinging, triggered place where it's like the little baby in me that's remembering when my mom left, and like that place gets triggered, where it can be easy to find all the things that are unsafe or where perceive you as a threat. And it's like work. It's like work to like me scoop up that little one and start to orient that little one inside of me of like, yeah, but look at, wow, Courtney's so safe. She's so consistent from the day we met her. Yeah, she has moments, but oh, little buddy, it's moments. She shows up she gives reassurance. She's so relational. She's initiates us into like so much good, and like reorienting through that negativity bias.
Yeah, it's sort of like orienting, like, yeah, every once in a while she like there's a miss or she didn't quite meet us there, but let's look at all the evidence and moments, And I know for me, it's an ongoing journey for me because I've had so much healing to do with the masculine in terms of just my nervous system. It's just very ancestral. And then in this life too, this just fear of the masculine, and also this fear of giving power to the masculine. So then not wanting to receive from the masculine, because my system has read, if I receive from you, that's giving you power. Like I'm being vulnerable in some way. So there's this ongoing journey for me of allowing myself to receive what Mike is offering. But it's so interesting, right? Because our capacity to receive also shapes what the other person is actually able to give, because there's places where I could look and say, well, Mike's giving me more now than he was before, and that's why I'm receiving. But really, I think you could only ever give me as much as I was willing to receive.
Totally.
And so this is where it's like we're co-creating the experience of receiving, and how often we see couples in front of us, just like for us, right? That the story is he's not showing up for me in this way, or she's not showing up for me in this way, but they can't until you're ready to receive that. There's actually, the door isn't open, you know? And I know for me, it's felt like this dance of, me softening in to actually receive Mike's support more, receive him in more, and then him also learning how to show up for me in that place once I open the door, right? And then he gets better and better at meeting me there. But then there's the next level of now I need softening again. And then Mike learning how to meet me in that place. And in that dance, there could be moments where he doesn't meet me quite how I need to, or maybe he does it in the way that's like really not helpful. But there's also this process of I have to open to receive for him to even step in to figure out how to offer.
Yeah, something that I've watched, because what you're describing, it's palpable, the difference from when we first met to now of how much more you're able to receive what I offer. And I'm curious for the listeners, like, what's your process in deepening like your felt sense of actually receiving it? Because I think there's a lot of couples out there where their frustration is they're trying so hard. They're like trying to offer all these things, and they might be experiencing a situation where they can't let it in. They can't feel it.
Can't.
The other partner can't feel it. It's not landing. Like, how have you worked with that place in you where now it lands in your body, now you feel it, and maybe the importance of feeling it?
Yeah. But can I name the flip of that too, though? This is what's so interesting. Actually, in a training I was doing on the weekend, we were talking about this. It can also be that we're trying so hard to be loved by our partner, right? So for example, Mike could be trying so hard to help me feel loved, and I'm not receiving it. And then vice versa. I can be trying so hard to get Mike to love me, but it's almost like the trying so hard is in the way. Because receiving actually is not a doing. Receiving is a softening. And in order to receive, we actually have to soften in our body. We have to slow down in our nervous system. And, to answer your question, receiving really, for me, I'm a somatic therapist. I've journeyed really deeply in working with the brain and the body. And receiving has been a huge piece I've been working with, like receiving in the nervous system and expanding into receiving more financially, pleasure, connection, love. And what's interesting is like receiving is a felt sense. It's a feeling in our body. Whereas most of us have been programmed that somehow receiving is a thing. It's like what we receive or how we receive, or I want to go get that thing. But really at the root of it, receiving is a feeling in the body. It's when my partner looks over at me, can I let that eye contact, that look like that Mike's giving me right now, can I let it come into my eyes? Can my eyes actually open to receive that gaze? And then can that sensation, as my eyes take that in, like, oh, there's like a sparkle, there's a warmth in Mike's eyes. Oh, that helps my eyes feel warm. And then can I actually let that trickle through my body? Like, oh, now his eye gaze is actually touching my heart, and my heart is softening. Oh, there's like a warmth in my heart. Oh, and then that's spreading through my whole body. Oh, and then, I'm receiving actually the feeling of presence. Like right now I can feel presence in Mike's chest and his shoulders and his arms, like this like open-heartedness towards me and this presence. And then can I feel that in my body? Like it's landing in me as like something I can lean into, like, oh, he's really here for me right now. And I feel this like settling. And it's almost like I can feel the sturdiness in you in my body. and then like a softening. And then when you just did that, where your like eyes and your cheeks just made this really sweet kind of smile softening, then I felt it in my cheeks. And so this is, I'm describing, this is how we actually receive, is we have to actually feel what's coming in our body. And for many of us, what's happening is we see it over there. Like I see Mike's eyes and I see Mike's face, and our brain is like, oh, Mike is being friendly. But we're not slowing down to actually fully let it come in and land in our body. And then it's not being fully received. And it's actually in the feeling of him coming in that way. That's actually where we build connection. So if we think of a moment in the kitchen, if a couple has a moment in the kitchen and, Mike comes over and he comes in behind me and, he kisses me on the neck and he rubs my back and squeezes me from behind, there's a version of me that's like, oh yeah, Mike's connecting with me. I'm moving on. I'm not fully letting that in. I'm not slowing down, and like that's sweet, but it's like a moment of connection with like 2 drops, I'm like aware of it, but if I actually like feel the sensation of his lips on my neck, and I actually feel you with your arms around me, and I actually feel like, oh, my body leans into you, and oh, I feel your heart behind me, and oh, I feel your breath, and I smell you. Now it's like, whoa, like I just got a full cup poured into me. And now that moment, is actually this deep moment of intimacy. And that moment is actually going to be felt throughout my day in a way that the other way of receiving wouldn't be. And this is where the art of that ability to really let receiving in and to feel it literally changes our neurochemistry. It changes because now when I see Mike, more serotonin and oxytocin and dopamine and good things get released because I'm really letting it in.
Yeah, it's so important that we feel what's here in the moment. When we talk about this receivership, I think you're doing such a beautiful job of mapping the experience of that happening. Because if we can't feel it and we're just in that part of our inner experience where we're narrating the idea of what's happening, it's not that deeper experience of embodiment. And then I know for me, if I can't feel it, then that inner critic with the clipboard inside is trying to tell me all the ways that I should go and try to receive something.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like, so if I listen to that, and then I'm like, oh, and if I follow that franticness of that voice in my head, any of you guys have that voice in your head? And just like that feedback is just, it's coming from that place of like, that negativity bias, the angst, and if I follow it, it's not helpful. I actually don't end up feeling it. It's more, this is why meditation practices and breath work are such a strong modality that have gone through eons of the human experience, because it's actually bringing us into different parts of our brain where our brain goes into full coherence. If our brain's in full coherence, we actually can receive the present moment. This is why women, I did a story asking a question of like, what's a quality, that people want from a partner? And a real common one that comes up for women is presence. Why? Well, with presence, you did a beautiful job of describing what that feels like for you, what it invokes inside of you. It's like, oh, so good. And, it makes me think of like that feminine energy. When you hear you talk, it makes me think of the receiving part of us, that feminine part of us. And, ways that I've cultivated this over years, because it's been harder in relationship. It's like, that's been like a lot of work. I'd say in the beginning, that was a big stretch, but how I started to build the receivership part of me so that I could receive an empowered feminine who's beautiful and has feelings and emotions and needs. It's like I actually just started building a relationship with nature. I actually started going out and like taking in the sunsets and the sunrises and letting myself feel it, like letting it open my heart and move me to emotion, like going out and smelling the flowers, like feeling the texture in the winter of the snow hit my skin. And like, it's incredible what that starts to wire inside of us. Like our brain functions different. It starts to look for more experiences like that. And then, so what I was sharing earlier about, where some partners can feel frustrated that they're giving, but it doesn't seem to be landing. And I love that you named the piece. If it's coming from trying really hard, if it's the trying really hard, then it probably won't be received really well because it's coming from a young part trying to be loved. And there's another version of, like, for me, how it can show up as frustration. I can feel frustrated if I feel super present, if I feel like I'm really connected to my body and I'm in my heart and I'm offering, I'm offering something, but it's not landing. For that situation, I just wanted to speak to people out there that in that situation, there's an opportunity to guide the connection, to guide the relationship into receivership. And this has been an interesting one to learn with you, just in this dance of relationship. Of in the past, I would go into this victim story of like, why isn't she receiving me? And then the ants would come crawling in, and my automatic negative thoughts about that would impact the connection. But what's been really cool is if I start to notice that's my experience, what I'm finding even more helpful is like, well, then guide what I'm needing in this, like it through an invitation to see if there could be an opening and there could be a receivership. And, as an example, if we're relating and let's say I feel like I'm really offering this thing that really meaningful, not from not from pushing or trying really hard, but it's just I'm being, and I'm like, ooh, there's a dissonance here. I don't know. Like, is she here? Sometimes I'll ask you, like, hey, can you feel me here? Hey, can we just slow down? And this is my need. This is my need to see and feel like the attunement within our connection of like, are we here together in this present moment? So like, hey, would you be open to like making eye contact and just breathing together? Oh, I notice I'm needing things to slow down. And it's been fascinating to watch how those invitations actually leads to a deeper receivership on my side, on the one thinking that I'm offering this thing that I want to have received, is me managing it and me guiding it through invitation relationally. And then what's been cool in that is I do end up feeling you feel like you receiving it more. Not that you weren't before, maybe not, I don't know. But it's helped me feel you receiving it more with the requests and the guidance. Yeah.
What's happening in me is like, it's almost like what my projection is if like, so when you're like, hey, can you feel me receiving you? What happens in me is I'm like, he's needing something, but he's saying it's about me not receiving, is like my story. And then I can get a bit defensive, like, and then I like push against, right? Like, well, is there an expectation that I should be being some way or something like this? And then I get like, I kind of push back a little bit. The second you make it about you, like, I'm needing this, I'm needing that, I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. And then that invites both of us into deeper receivership. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Makes so much sense. And
yes.
One of our mentors pops up when you share that is like Thomas Ubel talks about the ingredients of intimacy. And because if we're in intimacy, we evolve, we deepen. That's where we feel safe and secure, that deep sense of belonging, like the I am enough. And the ingredients for intimacy, and I love this statement, is me feeling you, feeling me. Mm-hmm. And so what I've noticed, and I love that you're naming it, there's been places where me am not feeling you, feeling me in the connection. And then in the past, I would go into a place of making story about you're not receiving me. But really what it's about is me attuning to myself to see, do I feel less connected here, and guiding it through that lens and that's why I love hearing for you how that lands different is when I'm talking about my experience.
Then I can receive you.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I want to receive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's an important piece to name because there's going to be different personalities. There's going to be different feminine and masculine and all these ways that these energies express. And for some partners, they may love that they may love the question, can you feel me here? And there might be other personalities that want that, well, what are you feeling and what are you needing? And just to name, and I'm not saying this is true, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but a curiosity I have of that place in me is impact of where impact of patriarch or impact of my household of where it wasn't safe to fully feel. So there's a bit of a guard.
In me?
Just no, in myself, it just makes me curious. Is there?
Well, for me, it reminds me of for me, I don't think it's so much what you're saying. It's that I need to feel you're coming from your own seat. And if I feel any kind of leaning over into my seat to see what's going on in my seat, and if I can't quite feel that you're in your seat, then my hackles go up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that's also, I'm hypersensitive to that because I had just in my matriarchal field, my mom and my grandma, there was just such a lack of boundary that I have a lot of engulfment stuff, where it's the other person is way too much in my space.
Yeah.
So I have a hypervigilance around that.
Yeah.
So, but I also think the gift of hypervigilance is I really notice if the other person isn't fully in their seat. So I'm a good barometer. If you want to test out how much you can be in your seat, I'll be a really good barometer for that. Oh, if I'm really in my seat, Courtney doesn't get her hackles up, but she gets.
Yeah. And this is so beautiful that you're even naming this, because this goes to the essence of sacred relating, is knowing the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Even what you described, there's past history there. So that past history is present in the relationship and matters in how we receive each other. And so the more we get to know and understand, when we're talking about how to fully feel what's offered, we need to know our partner's history. We need to know what's in the field, there's invisible energies when we're, in these places that are vulnerable. This is why it's so important. What we've talked about here is I got to feel what's going on in me to even get to know what, maybe what I'm feeling in you, and then building in the curiosity and us together weaving in this place of, do we feel connected here? Because when that's happening, when I think of all of our practices, our temple nights, our agreements that we have around how, one of our last episodes, how to fight well. And so we got agreements around that. We got all these agreements and structures and banks and ways that we're, growing up in the relationship where we're maturing together. It's it creates a larger terrain of feeling each other, really receiving what's here, and so juicy.
Well, and for me, it's this daily practice to wake up and how much more can I receive about what's here? How much more can I notice all the little things that Mike offers, or all the little moments, all the little ways he shows up, and making that a practice. Meaning, can I feel that deeper? Can I feel that more? And one of my favorite ways to do this too is when I'm not with Mike, practicing receiving his love, like building that, because what's happening then is we're actually building those neural pathways in our brain. So it's practicing just feeling, oh, right now Mike's working and taking care of us in that way. Aw, it was so sweet how Mike was so intentional about sending Cedar and I off for the day, or, all these little things, right? That It's just like practicing feeling it, slowing down and feeling it. And this is the key, slowing down and feeling it. And when Mike and I are doing therapy, I would say this is our number one most, I want to hear if you'd agree, our number one most powerful game-changing intervention that we do with couples. And whenever we go to do it, I'm like, yes, we're doing it, because it's so profound every time. And it's literally when we just get them to slow right down. Do you notice your partner's hearing you? Can you receive that? Well, yeah, totally. I can see that. No. Slow down. Like really look at him. Really look at his face. Can you feel that? Well, yeah, like really, and we slow it right down. And then they're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. See, do you see how he's got a little tear in his eye. He was really hearing you. There's so much warmth. See how he's moving towards you? Oh yeah. Oh, I don't think I've felt that before. And they really start to like, oh, that's making my shoulders drop and my heart. It's so profound. And it's literally us just slowing people down and helping them feel and notice where their partner is there, what they are offering. Maybe imperfectly, but that they're there and they're offering. And to actually feel that.
Yeah, it's guiding the ants out of the house to actually just appreciate what's going on in the house. Like it's so fascinating to watch that intervention, because really what we're doing is we're interrupting the negative bias that's going to play out in the brain, and where the subcortical brain is gathering evidence and remembering things that aren't even about this moment of like, yeah, but they do this and and then it's like, but wow, when we can guide couples into the present moment, which we need. In a lot of these places, you can't do it just the two of us. You like need a third party to come in and notice when we lose each other and guide us back into, whoa, but let's see what's here. And then inquiring to pull on different parts of the brain. Like, how do you notice that they're here? And then what we're doing there is drawing on the curiosity. Oh yeah, tell me more. Oh yeah. And then it's so sweet. Often we're moved into tears as they are when there's the felt sense of connection reestablished.
Oh, it's like always profound. And suddenly so much of the story and the hurt and the melts. And suddenly, oh, the hurt is like a much smaller percentage, you know? And I know another way for me, you know, that I feel what's truly offered is my ability, when Mike isn't quite offering what I'm needing or I'm not quite feeling received, to even just notice what he is, that, oh, but look, he's trying so hard, right? Even that. So like if there's a moment where what he's doing and saying, I'm like, that's not it. I can still be receiving, oh, he's wanting to meet me. Look, he's there. He's trying. He's moving through. How many times have we said to each other, hey, I can really see you're trying. And like being able to receive that, right? It's like, oh, I'm receiving that you're trying, that you care.
Yeah.
That you keep coming towards.
Yeah.
You know?
And the just vulnerable statement in those places, you know, just in our own advocacy for where we're trying so hard is, you know, statements where we've shared, yeah, I'm trying so hard here. I know it's imperfect, but this is me trying, like 100%.
Oh, when you say that, I find it so helpful. I'm like, right. And then I can receive that. And then it's like this reminder, oh, he's trying over there. Oh, I like that. So thanks for sticking around. So this is a bonus that whenever we bring this in for people, it's a game changer and something clicks. So this is a helpful trick for receiving when you're really not feeling it. So, you know, classic moment, we're telling a partner, you know, really take her in right now. She's here and she's showing up for you. And he's like, yeah, but normally she's just criticizing me, you know, and actually right now she's got this like kind of angry look on her face and I just feel, you know, criticized. And then what the invitation is, okay, so let's say it's like she's 10% angry. There is 10% of her's angry at you right now. Can you feel the other, did I say 10%? Can you
90.
feel the other 90% of her that is here and cares and loves you, you know? Or, you know, the version where it's like, yeah, my partner is here and he's holding my hand, but he's numb and like in avoidance and kind of like not really here. And it's not that that's not true. It's like, yep, he's in avoidance. Yep, he's kind of numb. He's not fully here. But like 60% of him is here because he's sitting there. He's holding your hands. He's still trying. Can you feel the 60%? So it's getting better at, it's not my partner's offering it or they're not offering it, or they're here or they're not here. Is getting better at receiving the percentage of what you're wanting that is here and noticing it and letting that in. And the better we get at that, we're actually building not only our capacity to receive our partner in wherever they're at in their process of being human, but we're also building our adult brain. Because the adult brain is able to notice nuance. It's able to hold many things at once. Like Mike can both be in avoidance and kind of a bit distant and reaching out to me and wanting to connect and offering things. And it's like practicing, can I notice that at the same time?
Yeah, beautiful tool. It's so effective. And the cool thing is, the more that this is worked on, the more space and softness there is in the connection, which actually leads to more being offered, potentially. Because when there's less reactivity or there's less crunch, then it is safer to open up the heart. It is safer to give more and to receive more. So it starts to feed on itself. Like the more we flex this muscle and we like really strengthen this place of like noticing what parts here, it's so good. And another last little practical piece for, those of you that, maybe need the structure of this, spend some time journaling, like actually do a journal practice. This has been a game changer for me. It's like one thing to do in the day to day, which I do. And for me, like journaling in the morning and the evening, like things that I really value and appreciate. I do this for myself, but I also do it for you, like my partner. And like, oh yeah, where does she show up and how is that helpful? And like spend some time building that relationship and build those, the wiring for that, and then bring it to the relationship. Tell your partner, like, how good does it feel to be celebrated for what it is we offer?
So good. So, thank you for sticking around. We would love it if you can share. If you're finding this helpful, share this episode with someone. Offer us a 5-star rating. A comment helps us a lot. And, Mike and I have this together online community that's a gathering of beautiful, conscious couples who are in the practice, both messy and beautiful, of sacred relationship. And in it, we have live calls. We do practices together. Mike and I offer coaching for people who want support. And it's always what we always hear from people is it's so helpful to see other couples grappling and working through similar things and then to grow together. And to have insights because you're watching other couples on this journey. And we get to basically be supported by and through osmosis, all the learning that everybody in the community has, we also get to go through. So it's a speeding up of the work, really, because we have these sacred mirrors. So if you're interested, there's information in the show notes.
Yeah, and what's really great about this is there might be a vulnerability of like, oh, but we're new and the couples have been there a long time. We're at a year now since we first opened up the couples community and new couples are coming in. And what's fascinating is it's actually even juicier to join now because there's already an established foundation of couples that have been with us in the beginning, and you actually get to see the growth that's happened in such a short period of time with these couples that can hold so much love and compassion for wherever you're at when you come in. And then also, like, wherever you're at is going to contribute. There's golden gifts that you have to offer by just sharing your experience. And it's just a beautiful, safe place of just reciprocity. Like everyone just like gains so much in there.
We would love it if you joined because we're pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's the best job ever. Thank you, love.
Yeah. Thank you.